necessary? Can't get away from it. Turn it. Okay. You folks, the diligent few have shown up. I think we've got plenty of seats down front here. If you'd like to come on down here, we can make this much more informal. The party must have been really, really good last night. But regardless, 8 o'clock is the hardest time in the world to speak, and nobody laughs at your jokes. But since we got such a small crowd, I'm going to tell a quick one anyway. It was this old farmer down in Texas, and a very small town, had a new preacher came to town. The new preacher was having his first sermon, and he was very, very nervous about that sermon. And he shows up, and he's prepared, and he walks into the church, and it looks about like this. There was one old farmer there. The old farmer showed up, and the preacher was scratching his head, and he waited a few minutes. He said, "I don't know whether I should go ahead and give my sermon or not." He said, "There's just nobody showed up. The word didn't get out." And the old farmer says, "Well, son, tell you the way I do it." He says, "When I go out to feed my cows, I take a truckload of hay, and if one cow shows up, I feed her." And that inspired the preacher. And then the preacher commenced his sermon, and he went on for about 2 hours. And he was all worked up, and he went on and he asked the farmer, "Well, how did you like my sermon? Did it do okay?" He said, "Son, I said if one cow shows up, I go down there and feed her. I didn't say I gave her the whole load." See, you don't like jokes either this time of day. I knew better than that. Thanks. Just a quick introduction of myself. I am Hord Tipton. As the slide says, I'm the executive director of the ISC Squared. A couple of years ago, for an extended, painful period of time, I was the chief information officer for the Department of Interior in government. Large operation. Not a lot of people know about Interior, but from there I managed IT operations for about 80,000 people and 2,500 offices all over the world. So it was quite a challenge. We had about a $1.5 billion IT budget, and it was never enough money to go around, but we always griped about that, but it was a challenging job. Before that, I was a chemical engineer, which is my formal training with Union Carbide. But I'm enjoying this job, and today I wanted to just take a quick snapshot. How many of you are code developers? One, two. Okay. How many of you are in some other function of IT? Okay, got probably a good split then. All right, I can talk both ways then. Today we're going to talk about software development, and we call it the last security frontier. I want to approach it from two different angles, and I'm not diminishing anybody's role anywhere. I'm trying to explain what we're going to say in a manner that integrates the roles and appreciates the functions of individuals, but also from the synergistic value of a whole. And I think I can get through this outside of 45 minutes with no problem. Just a quick snapshot of ISC Squared and the organization so you understand some of where I'm coming from with this. So we'll be celebrating a 20-year anniversary next year, so we're still a young organization. 60,000 certified professionals in 135 countries, so we are worldwide. Okay, all right. We have a board of directors, 13 people, very, very renowned individuals, most chief security officers in major corporations in the country. And just a reminder that 70%, according to Gartner, of our security vulnerabilities exist at the application layer. We've been very, very good, very persistent about attacking the perimeter security, but just guarding the perimeter, as all of you know, is no longer sufficient. Data compromise is indeed the issue. And as long as we've got port 80 open, and as long as we've got email, there'll always be a gate, and I don't care how many of the others that we close. And we're all reminded that data loss, data breaches are not popular. Individuals take them personally when they are hit, and as a result of that, 38 out of 50 states in the U.S. have now enacted breach disclosure laws. Quite honestly, I think I think we have experienced breaches to the extent and to the magnitude that the impact that they make anymore as a whole and on a company is become diminished. It's become diminished because people, I think, are getting a bit complacent about it and are starting to accept it. And in a way, to me, that makes the overall danger even worse than what it is. Okay, Frost and Sullivan did some research for us, and then they found there are 3 primary conditions that create information security vulnerabilities in enterprise software applications. I'll fess up here. Actually, I think they found 2, and I added 1 in there because I thought it needed to be there. The review indicated that inexperienced developers writing code they're human, and without that experience, mistakes are made. Things are overlooked, and they get better as they get experience. But everybody has to start somewhere. Nobody hits the ground running, so you have to expect that, and you have to have the right place in the life and the development cycle for that team. And then we have experienced developers writing code with inadequate training in the best practices for security. I was reading on a train coming up from Washington that some companies have looked at this and have taken I think what's an unusual approach in that I call it the Greybeard Approach, that they're hiring first and foremost older developers that know security. They've had security mistakes. They've been burned like I have, and they have experience writing code. And quite frankly, I guess they're just a little independent, and they're going to put security in there, whether the influencers and the management team wants to pay for it or not. So they think that's a good thing. And then from there, then they can train and mentor the or lesser experienced developers as they come in. This is just a quick reminder slide. Everybody remembers these 3 rascals and the damage and the confusion and the mess that they caused. And you probably have noticed in recent days we really haven't seen these type of epidemics. At least you haven't seen them publicized. I can assure you from even the classified side of the world